Do it.
And we'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast. And today's going to be one of those podcasts where it's going to be round and round, where where it goes, where it stops, nobody knows. So, I was playing pickleball with a lady, with a group of people, and I don't know. Somehow we got talking, and I said I might be the most mentally, you've heard about high functioning alcoholics.
Yep.
I told her, I said, and I've said this for a while, and Beth, she's kind of verified this, my therapist from Europe. But I said, I might be the highest functioning mentally ill person on the planet.
Go on.
Well, like here is somewhere here. Oh, here it is. So here is the based on personalities, you can see um like the analytic, the foundation of all the analytic, um, like if you get down to the core of the analytic, why they have mental health issues, it's despair. Driver is anger, expressive is foolishness, and amiable is fear. But if you look at the details, the analytic, well, let's start off with the amiable. Um, and so the amiable disorders would be panic attack, passive aggressive, stress, post PTSD, anxiety, social phobias.
Okay.
The disorders for the analytic would be pride, disassociation, major depression, bipolar, dysthymia. For the expressive, narcissism, ADD, ADHD, addictions, explosive drama, eating disorders, obsessive compulsive. And then the driver is defiant, poor conduct, disruptive, sexual disorders, oppositional, and physical abuse. And then the granddaddy of them all, this this goes into the, you know, where they can't solve it is BPD, the borderline personality disorder, which there's a great book out there on it says walking on it. The title is Walking on Eggshells. So I
Hmm.
was referred to this book by a friend of mine about somebody else that I know, and it said this person said, "I think this person has borderline personality disorder. I think you got to read the book." And I read the book, and it was crazy. I mean, like halfway through, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I have borderline personality disorder."
What does that mean? Like, what is it?
It's
I, I've
it's
heard of
weird.
it. I've heard of it. I don't know really know what it is.
Well, it's they say there's no cure for it. You're going to end up committing suicide. What? Wow. But then I felt good because in the book they say um that the person who has it makes everybody else around them feel like they have it. So it's really a combination of all of these. It's everything. It's a chameleon personality. And I showed Tom Coons this model. I just showed him first time, I'd seen it. I showed it to him. And he's like, "Oh my goodness, I've got all of those." I'm like, "Right,
The human experience.
right." And so there's um there's an upside to all of these too.
Go on. Or what?
So it's weird. It's
Oh,
weird because you guys know Elaine Yoder,
yeah,
neighbor down the street from us.
the older late or not older, but like is
No,
it
and she's pretty young. She's like Ginger Ann's age, and so she's got 5 kids, and so she works with us and does a bunch of stuff. She's at the Coffee Connection. Ooh, no, don't want to bring that up. That'll send us in another direction. And so she said this weekend, she said, or yesterday, she said, to Rosanna, like, which I thought was kind of rude, but it's okay if you're rude to somebody who has social autism, they don't mind really. But she said, wow, now we know where Melissa got, her drama from. I'm like, wow. Oh, because I went to a graduation. Her oldest son, he's graduating from eighth grade.
Mhm.
Um, and so they invited us. That's the first time I've ever been to one of those. That was pretty cool. Anyways, um, yeah, this could go a lot of different directions.
Was that at an Amish school or a
Yeah,
public school? What'd you
yeah.
think? What'd you think of
I
that?
thought a lot about you, actually. Then we went over to a graduation party afterwards and stuff, and I asked a bunch of questions trying to figure out, a bunch of different things. And so I think the Amish, they have a much better educational system than the English do, for
Hmm,
sure, without question.
interesting.
Why
I've
is
never, I never, I never went to an Amish school, but Jason and Lauren, my oldest two brothers, started there, and then we all went to public school. But what made you think of, well, was it me or us or what in particular?
you?
Tell me more.
Well, you got a college degree. Most Amish, they get an eighth grade education. Are you familiar with Mensa?
Mhm.
Mensa. No.
It's like a brain company.
That's
I
exactly
don't.
what it is. It's that. That's exactly what it is. Like Alvin Miller, I've known him for I don't know a couple of years. We meet every week, and I don't know. Like a couple of weeks ago, he's like, I don't know if you guys. There were three of us there, I think, and he says, I don't know if you guys know of Mensa. I'm like, yeah, I know of Mensa. They're like he said, the top 2%. It's not the top 2%. It's like the top 0.00002%. I mean, there's like these. I've never met anybody who's ever been in Mensa is like, you got to be kidding. He's like, yeah, I was invited to attend to be part. Like what? Like hey. He's like, yeah, there was something in the Reader's Digest, and I took a test, and it talked about Mensa, so I took a test, put it in, and they went ahead and said, wow, you did really good. Here's another test, and so he took that test, and he did really really good on that test. Here's a guy with an eighth grade education in Mensa, like. And then he did so good on that next test that they invited him down to Fort Wayne to go ahead and meet a whole bunch of Mensa people. And he did so good there, they invited him to join. And I'm like, did you join? And he's like, no, they're a bunch of stuck up people who think they're really smart.
Huh. I've never heard of it. I'm just looking it up right now. It's
Oh my goodness. It's
organization
like,
for people with a high IQ.
yeah, and that's high is not, that's like there's this special group you got to take tests, and then he says, but yeah, they all thought a lot of themselves. It's like, and then the other guy said, did you tell him you had an eighth grade education? Yeah, I got an eighth grade education. You guys invited me in. Like it's just like I knew Alvin was smart, but not that smart. Like my gracious. So yeah, the Amish. Like if I would have known about the Amish when I was a kid, I would have done everything I could to push my parents to go ahead and join the Amish, like big time. Oh, for sure.
I would love to pick that apart. Why?
Oh, it's easy. I hated school. Hated it. Why would I be in school? I could learn so much out of school. Like if I wasn't in school, then I wouldn't have had to go to ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And then I went to college, you know, and I got 3 degrees. It's like, and I hated school, just hated school. It's probably because I didn't have Marissa. Because if I would have had her as a teacher, I probably would have loved school. Seriously, like nobody ever connected. None of my teachers, all that education out. One of my teachers said, "Mark, what do you love? What are you passionate about? Like business? Like really? In grade school? Yeah. All the things I did. I created my own monetary system when I was like, I'd go outside and play in the back all by myself. And then I'd go ahead and create the city with an in-ground swimming pool because I thought I'd always have one. And then Then I created, and then there was drainage and it wiped out my entire city. Then I had to set up a whole like a tunneling system to go and not wipe out the city. I was like in fourth or fifth grade. Then I thought, oh, it'd be really cool to have your own, monetary system. So I set up my own money system, and then it was, oh my goodness, it was so much fun.
And nobody ever tapped into that part of it, which it's a big problem.
Mhm.
Oh, it's huge. It's like when I went ahead and found out. Oh, this is like when I found out about science, like how cool science is. This is my brain. This is my journal here.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
let's look at the our belief system. Yeah, let's look at this. Well, our belief system, so what was this? This was 15 years ago. So I started looking at belief system, like how people come up with belief systems, and then I found out, so then you have,
Can't help.
oh, I was going to have a joke. You guys didn't know what you guys did to me that one time. So, so here, so you guys, tell me more about this. So my natural personality, so, there's an upside to each one of these.
That's what intrigued me. I was going to ask more about the
Yeah.
upside parts of these because
Oh my
some of
goodness.
us have, it's hard to imagine that, but
Yeah, no, it's really cool. So panic attacks, you're sensitive. Did you guys ever hear about my panic attack and Melissa and the stuff? That's a great story. I have so many stories. It's like, wow, I
oh,
can't. What's weird is I'm so young. How can somebody as young as I have so many stories? Passive aggressive is you're nice and hard. I've 6 times I've been told in my life I was passive aggressive. It was the coolest thing. Like most of the time, people just say you're aggressive. So it's like, oh, I'm learning, I'm growing. It's like, and then stress, like you don't have stress if you don't care, right? And post traumatic, you have feelings, like you actually have feelings. And then anxiety because you love, you
mhm.
know, and then social phobias, it's like you desire more.
This
And
is
then,
basically a, this is basically a reframing of every single one of these
right.
that I think could be.
It's a strength becoming a weakness, and when your weakness becomes a weakness, it creates a disorder. And then if you're in the mental health industry, you can make a lot of money on this stuff. Like
Mhm.
whoa, like pride is desire. Disassociation is you can let go. Major depression, you're actually aware of stuff. Bipolar, you have empathy. Dysthymia, you have consistency. Narcissism, you're drawing. You can draw people.
Yep.
ADD, ADHD, you're hyper focused. I,
I tell her all the time. She's like, "Well, my ADHD brain, but this or whatever," and I get it because some things there's
right. Oh my goodness.
challenges. There's challenges, but I'm telling you, there's
Oh,
there's a superpower in that
there's
too.
a superpower in all of this stuff. It's like I can't tell you. I bet you over 50% of the business owners that we coach have ADD, ADHD. I'm like, when they say I have ADD, ADHD, I'm like, well, congratulations. That's a wonderful gift. They're
Yeah.
like, it is. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Explosive drama, you can make breakthroughs. Eating disorders, you discipline, obsession, compulsive, you're brilliant.
Mhm.
You know, defiant, you're strong.
Mhm.
Poor conduct, right. You right wrongs.
Yep.
We're coming up on the one I really like. So you guys said something once in one of the podcasts that kind of, changed the rules of the game. Disruptive, you fix things, right? I think this is the next one. Sexual disorders, lots of kids. Just saying.
That was one of them. I was like, wait, where's it? Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, in marriage, Keep it in marriage, kids. Like boys, girls, you keep it in marriage, and I'm telling you, it's an awesome thing. Oppositional, you stop abuse,
Yeah.
physical abuse. You're warriors. You're a warrior, And the best of all of them is borderline. You're crazy brilliant. Like,
I like this. This would be um like relabeling these things as people see them as all negative or certainly not just neutral or whatever, like seeing them as a
well, and this is where I think the error is. If you go ahead and say, I'm not, you're driving a car and you're saying, I'm not going to hit the tree, I'm not going to hit the tree, I'm not going to hit the tree, you know,
yeah.
and then you hit the tree. So so Melissa, she was once going with a friend. She asked me to go with a friend to see another friend, and this young man had tried to commit suicide. He was in the hospital, so we're driving to the hospital, and her friend said, I'm so concerned I'm going to have a panic attack. And I said, I don't know. They were maybe 16, 17 years old or something. And I said, oh, I know how to fix that. And she's like, you do? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And Melissa's like, he doesn't. Thanks, honey. Appreciate the support there. And she's like, do you really? I said, I do. And she's like, okay, well, help me fix it. And then I said, okay, show me a panic attack. And she's like, well, you can't do that. I said, exactly. Try to have it, run towards it. Don't run away from it, run towards it. And it works. It works. And so, did either of them have a panic attack? Neither of them did. Did I get credit for it? No, not a bit. Like, you'd think, like your daughter would be like, "Oh my gracious, my dad's a genius," but she doesn't. She doesn't give me any credit. It's like, whoa, no wonder he's got so many issues. Wow, that's brilliant. So, anyways, fast forward a number of years. So this was almost coming up on 5 years. So Tim, like he was my youngest son, he was 19 years old. And so he's in a pretty, he was in the room when Jonathan committed suicide. This is a rifle shot to the head. This is not pretty. I mean, he's 5 feet away from it. I mean, he went ahead and his back was turned, heard the gunshot, turned around, saw his brother, warning everyone, like his body crumpled down like, this is really tough. So the police, they had to go through and see, if he really died of suicide or if Tim killed him. Like that was a question. Like, and another reason not to drink. And if you have mental health issues, don't have guns. Like I'm just saying, if you have some anger issues that aren't resolved, you have alcohol issues, don't have guns. Just don't do it anyways. And so they took his phone, and about a month later, they sent it to our house, and he was over, and he's like, "Dad, I got my phone back from the police." And I said, "Okay." And he's like, so they were texting. They were really angry. Oh, don't play games too, like like Xbox games and stuff. Like it does stuff. It's so they were playing and they got angry at each other and they were fighting and all kinds of messy stuff. So they were really angry with each other. They were texting back and forth, and he says, "So I'm going to go in and So this is like minutes before Jonathan died, and so it's his last text. Yeah, he says, "I want you to be here, Dad, when I read it." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I can do that." So when we went to pick him up, when we flew out to Tucson, we went ahead and got in the house and then got in the room, and his body was obviously gone, but they hadn't cleaned anything up, so it was really, I won't go into details, but really messy. And I don't do good with messy. Like I don't, I can faint really quick, and so, but I thought I want to go in the room where he died. I want to be there. I want to experience everything so I can help Tim. Like what I'm going through is nothing compared to what he went through. So I want to go through. So I want to be there. So I'm like, man up, buddy. Go in there. And Rosanna wanted to go in too. And Ben was there. And I'm like, honey, I'm not going to stop you, but I wouldn't recommend it. But for sure, I went in there first, and when I went in there, I could see everything all over the ceiling, the floor. I mean, it was gruesome. I mean, it was gruesome, and all your senses, your everything, just oh, totally. Anyways, Rosanna's, so Ben and I went in there, and holy cow! And so then I walked out and she was going to go in and Ben stopped her. So he's pretty tall and he's like, "You're not going in." I'm like, "You know what? I'm not going to tell her not to, and I'm not going to tell him not to." So she had just pushed him aside. She's like, "I'm going in." And then I got a call and then I talked to Jonathan's father-in-law for about 20 minutes. I said, "Don't go in unless I'm here." And then she decided not to go in. But anyways, so Tim was sitting on the couch in my office and he started reading and he started going into a panic attack. He's shaking, crying, and everything else. And so, me being the good dad that I am, it's important that I highlight some of these good dad moments, because there's a lot of ones that I think I must have messed up a lot. Anyways, so he's shaking, trembling on the couch. And he goes ahead, and so I go over and sit by him and just hold him, just like, and just like I just try to absorb all the energy, and then he calms down. I mean, he's just like peaceful and just melts in my arms. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's the good dad part. And then he says, you wanna you wanna read the text messages? And I'm thinking inside of me, no, because I can visualize everything. So I can feel, I'm an empath, so I can feel people's pain and I can see when I'm there and all kinds of stuff. And this is a wonderful gift, but it's really painful. It's like, oh, so I'm like thinking, no, I don't, no, no. But I'm like, again, Mark. So I'm like, sure. And so he gives me the phone, and all of a sudden, I read my son's last thoughts and stuff before he died. And I start crying, and then I start shaking, and then I start having a panic attack. And so Tim's like, Dad, you're having a panic attack. Stop it. And boom. I just go, boom. I'm like, okay.
And it was over or what? Or
Yeah,
how?
it was over. Tim starts laughing. He's like, holy cow, Dad, that was amazing. Like, wow. Like, I can't believe he starts laughing. I start laughing. And he's like, that was crazy. How did you do that? It's just discipline. It's like the monks can go ahead and, the monks can slow their heartbeat and their mind and everything to where it looks like they're dead. So it's just discipline. It's just discipline of the mind. If you want to go spiritual, it says capture every thought. It's okay. I mean, I'm in a safe place. I'm sitting on a couch. I'm not driving a car. I'm not going to fall and hurt myself. I'm on a couch. It's okay to go ahead and feel all of that pain. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to have a panic attack. It's like, it's not a big deal. So I did. And then when he said stop it, I did. It's like, okay. So,
How do
and
you maybe this is the I'm trying to how would you even start to like heal from that imagery? I don't know if you have
you
or
don't heal. What you do is you just make sure the infection's out. So I was at the airport about 4 or 5 hours after we found out he had died. And we were flying out to get Tim. So Tim was a higher risk of dying. And Roseanne was on the same couch that Tim was a while back. So she's crying and I'm crying. And after the police officer came and said, hey, your son died. I mean, the whole story it's crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can't even, oh, your parents came over and saw our property for the first time yesterday. That was really cool. And a bunch of your relatives too, because they were doing some garage sailing thing. And so Melissa and Jason, but I was taking a nap because the graduation was exhausting. All those people and all that. The softball. Oh my God. Those Amish girls. Holy cow. Can they hit a ball? They're playing men. These are seventh and eighth grade girls, seventh and eighth grade girls playing men, growing men, 30s, 40. And one girl clubbed it, hit the thing, whacked it beyond the men. They're running back trying to get it. She goes all the way to third, and then they overthrow her and she comes in. Like those girls, and man, can they field. Like, whoa, holy cow. Anyways, it's interesting how everything interconnects in my brain. Like, it's like, wow. So, and being mentally insane, like, it's okay. Like, it's okay for all of these. I just have to turn it into good. I can turn it into good. Any of these can be used for good or they can be used for bad. It's my choice.
Mhm.
It's totally my choice. Anyways, going back, how do you start? Um, so what we think is bad is often good. What we think is good is often bad. If I'm going to laugh about something in 10 years, why wait 10 years? So Rosanna was on the couch crying and she said, "We're going to lose two boys today, aren't we?" And I said, "Yeah, honey, there's a good chance." I mean, the police officers, and I appreciate them so much. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying, hey, they didn't handle that situation so well. Anyways, and so we went to the airport, and so Rosanna and I and Ben were flying out of O'Hare, and I got a call from my brother Ken, and he said, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not doing good. I mean, yeah, not good, not good at all." And he's like, "What's up?" I said, "I'm angry. I am so angry." And he said, "Who are you angry at?" I said, "I'm angry at Jonathan. I'm angry at me. I'm angry at our dead dad. I'm angry at you. I'm angry at everybody. I'm just angry." And 24 hours after he died, maybe to the minute, we don't know exactly, but pretty close. The next, we flew out there, got Tim and stuff, and we stayed in a hotel overnight. And so Roseanne and I were in a room, and Ben was in the room in the bed next to us, and then Tim and then this Jonathan's brother-in-law from his first marriage, he was there too. And and Rosanna, I woke up and Rosanna at 3:30, she was crying. And before she woke up, God went ahead and said to me in my sleep, which doesn't happen a lot in the Baptist, for Baptists. And so, God said to me, "Mark, you'll never understand this. But everything I put him on this planet to do, he did." And I was healed. Just boom. It took all the anger from everything. Getting healed from my experience is easy. Staying healed is hard. It's just brutally hard. It's unbelievable. So I was so thankful for all of the pain in my whole life. When I hit that moment, I was just so thankful for all of the pain, every ounce of pain that I'd ever had. I was so thankful because it helped my brain be able to handle that stuff. And so I think a lot of people are like, he can't, he must not have been close to Jonathan because he can't, like, he's functioning at a very high level. I mean, and it's like people don't know how close Jonathan and I were, where we talked every day. Our businesses were interconnected. I mean, he was, holy cow, what a loss, what a gap. So, anyways, I know you guys probably got to run. Generational sin, we didn't get into that. Maybe, and I wanted to because I felt that last week we didn't. We get all these rabbit trails. I apologize for that. Like
No,
there's
no, this has been just as good, if not better, and
different. Yeah.
different. Yes,
Yeah.
and like I'm sure talking about it, like you just mentioned, this just clicked something in my brain. Like healing isn't it's not like a put the
Destination.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's almost like almost put it in terms of fitness where it's not you're never like reaching the finish line. You're always
Right.
doing the thing.
Right. And that connects back in like when I was 19 years old, which was harder for me. That was far harder for me than Jonathan's death when I was 19 and I'm dating and I'm absolutely in love with this young lady and I find out her dad's sexually molesting her while we're engaged. Like that, the pain on that was infinite. Why? Because my brain hadn't developed the
Yeah.
mechanisms to process any of that. So I'm like, like I mean, the amount of pain that I went through, but I was really thankful for that pain when I hit Jonathan because there were so many of the techniques and so many of the things I had learned in handling that pain and forgiveness and healing. Like if I hadn't gone through that, I don't know if I'd have made it through Jonathan's stuff. I mean, it's like, and that's where the medication and all the other stuff. And if somebody's listening, I'm not saying it, not saying like there is, that's another story for another time where that therapist helped me so much. Like it was crazy. That story when I was 22 years old. Oh my goodness. And how he helped me just think differently. But the medication, really when you think about it, medication it's not any of the stuff for the mental health stuff. None of it heals it.
Mhm.
It's like it covers it up and and so you don't I think it takes longer if you go ahead and on the medication and you might not ever get to this stuff. It's like you just want to forget it. You just want to do whatever. And it's like, well, that's not going to work so well, I don't think, for you. I think that it's like I hear that when you break a bone, if it's set properly, it grows back and it's stronger, after it was broken. Well, why wouldn't that same principle be true with mental health, with our mental stuff?
I feel like it's a the wrong approach. It's basically the solution is that I feel nothing, and
Right.
that's not a solution. That's a worst case than feeling the thing that you're worth, or the
Go ahead,
feeling.
Marissa.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like medication in the mental health community, medication isn't bad. Using it first is the danger. Because when you start with medication, then you're depending on the medication to help you to fix this, to do something. And so you'll just go up in dose. You won't, like, there's a lot of danger and risk just to, like, that's what you assume this is what I need. Like, you don't even think about there's other alternatives and options. And I think medication can be really helpful used down further in the process. Like when you've been practicing these things, you have these strategies, you're implementing things, and you just kind of need a little extra something to help you really land on your feet and should not maintain them long term. Like give you a
Oh,
little time for that to work and then you can go back off. Like
that's interesting. That'll be another interesting podcast for sure. Um,
Yeah.
like,
Because
yeah,
I
it's
I hear I hear I hear that and I empathize with that. I don't know when it comes down to the bare bones of it if I would agree with it. So
that's
well,
fine.
and when he says he's not disagreeing, he just has a different perspective because we've
That's
learned, yeah, it's a different perspective, and so it would be interesting. Yeah, it would be. It's another podcast. Like it's just like, man, if you guys just didn't have church on Sunday, we could just do like 10 of these back to back. Anyways, if you're listening to the rebroadcast, you find this interesting, like pass it along to other people. Like trust me, people are hurting out there. Like it's unbelievable, and you don't even know it. Like you don't even know they're hurting. But when you go ahead and are transparent, the amount of doors that's opened to me, yeah, I'm just pretty direct. Yeah, our oldest son 5 years ago, he committed suicide, rifle shot to the head. Our 19-year-old son in the room just ripped that band right off. Just people are like, oh, like, oh. It's like, yeah, they're like, why had this happen? I'm like, right? Like there's a connection. There's a connection. And like, how you seem like you're good. I'm like, well, good. Things are interesting. So, anyways, if you have any questions, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300 outside the US 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.